So MIA versus ARP. Conover is getting murdered right now as much as he can. He is actually getting spotted by that. But actually, we'll go with Dimex. Dimex from the stream, good guy. Now, these guys are going to be rolling. I'm looking to see what kind of loadouts they had for, and there's Benson. Benson versus Benson. Now, Kutuzov. Now, look at all of that info. Now, they are going to have the radar advantage. Is he going to be close enough? I don't think so. It's going to be really close. So if they snag this kill on this Benson, what a massive advantage for these guys. They do have the radar. He's just out of range now. So Cruiser to Cal Kai wasn't able to get that. But they did pump a nice little, you know, no survivability expert for Drob 60 pushing into B. So one being very aggressive. It's like Diebag doesn't have any AA on right now. Maybe he's holding it. What you end up seeing is you see a lot of C Hall Bensons where they have actually a pretty decent AA loadout. And they are able to shoot down a decent amount of planes. Sometimes you'll see, we saw like our friend Rhino and some of the server classes shooting down 20 plus planes in one game with a destroyer, tier 8 destroyer, which is pretty freaking crazy. So we'll see if we see a normal air supremacy loadout, which we normally do, which is the 3 fighter Shokaku and everything else like that. But pretty slow right now. They put some pressure on that first Benson. Shade Dude 60 is rolling around the Bismarck, but he's going to get absolutely kind of focused on right now. Dimag's using the environment to keep himself safe, not have to worry about any torps. A loop capping. A loop actually played very, very well. The MIA team played very, very well in that server clash, and I really give these guys a lot of respect. So as you can see right now, their Shokaku is actually spotted right now. The enemy Shokaku for the ARP team is spotted, and these guys are kind of looking for a DD. They're trying to figure out what's going on, and I'm going to bounce over, if I can, to the Charles Mattel and kind of show what he's doing. So we saw this a lot from... we saw this a lot from the EU teams, is what they would do, and obviously we're seeing it now, and MIA got to actually had to play against, where they had a cruiser, a sneaky cruiser, and a battleship flanking team. I had never really seen it before, but the EU teams did actually run it a lot, and what ends up happening is they kind of make this 1-2 punch of a massive flank. As you can see, they have A and B cap, and really C, they have this this dwarf land, actually, or dwarf lord. I'm surprised nobody's running the Monarch. Now, the Monarch is, I think, an Armite ship. It doesn't tank very well, and really the Amagi is a beast of a ship. But you're going to see the Charles, you're going to see the Amagi doing this massive flank on these guys. And the thing is, they got to be really careful, though. Looks like the red CV is going to 2-2-2, which is pretty risky. I don't think he's going to be able to do. He'll maybe get 1 or 2 strikes, so he's got to make it count. But a good air supremacy fighter loadout Shokaku was going to absolutely shut him down, so he's got to be a little careful. The Charles, not known for having extremely good AA, can definitely shoot down some planes. It'd be a kind of a pain in the butt, but I mean, he's basically just going to dedicate a fighter or 2 to just protecting these guys and not really be able to do anything else. So not really gonna be able to do too much. So he's doing a really good job at keeping one of his dive bombers on the CB, keeping him spotted, keeping him intact so they can keep an eye on that. So right now, this entire ARP team, we're gonna bounce around a little bit over to Cruiser. Now he's kind of posted up, and the Chappie can be very, very effective. Not really in the position he's at. He's got to be a little careful, but if you have played the Russian line, you know just how freaking effective they can be and how much damage they can pump out because of their HE, their range, their accuracy. So he's just going to stand up and just start burning down that NorCal. Exactly. He just needs to keep vision on it. Obviously, they don't have that right now. And he can still just keep pumping that out. If he gets on a good, I mean, he's not going to be spotted. One bad thing is, let's say if he was on a Kutuzov, he'd be in a little bit better spot. He'd probably be able to pump out a little bit more damage, but he wouldn't have the radar. He would have the smoke, though. Would have a little bit better AA. So, but all in all, he's just going to post up here, use this environment to protect him, keeping him out of line of sight, and really able to just pump out damage. Keep pressure on him, keep those repairs. It is insanely important when you are playing this competitive to communicate who has and who does not have a repair, because you will never see a more focused fire group. Basically everything gets, if you ever played ranked, you see a good kind of group working together. Now Loop's got to be very careful. It's a Bismarck that's going to be spotting this guy. If he does have sonar up, he's going to have planes up, and a Kutuzov is right here. So he's going to basically work this island perfectly, make it his little home, keep him protected. And he is danger close on these guys. Potentially a death sentence for a Loop, but we will see what he can do. None of those torps are going to end up hitting, and that Kutuzov is going to be able to shoot down most of those planes. But if you've ever been in a ranked situation, played ranked, actually the Kuda didn't actually drop or the AA consumable. It's kind of surprising, or maybe he just didn't have it. If a loop's able to also drop planes on that, so he is going to do that. Didn't pop A himself, is going to take some decent damage. Oh, he's in the Loyang, that's why I didn't do it. I figured they're all in Benson's. But if you've ever been in a ranked game, you will notice pretty decent focus fire. Now you will see that magnified when you see a competitive atmosphere. These guys are going to be insane. They're going to communicate. There goes the radar. So look at all those guys that are there. A loop is basically in a really bad situation right now. He's guaranteed getting sonared. He doesn't really he's not really able to pump out any damage against these guys. So Loop is just hoping the bad man goes away in this Bismarck, because he's keeping him perma-spotted. Luckily he can't really take any extra damage, but he isn't a Benson, so he's not going to be able to. Now, is the Loop going to go for this move? He's not able to pump out any damage, but he's going to be perma-spotted just because of sonar. But Banshee basically kind of sitting there, as well as Shade Dude. And I'm surprised they're rolling both Bismarcks, but in this map, Bismarck's actually really good. Really good in this situation. Omar's Warship is going very low. Down goes a Benson, so nice torps. Basically, they had a nice cross section here with a Loop throwing some torps potentially that way, and then Dimegs was able to roll north, so he was able to get that nice cross section. And so Loop is still just chilling here. He can't really do anything, so he's probably going to go down, but is going to hope to maybe get a good trade. Push up, but he's gonna be freaking just perma-spot. He's not gonna be able to go anywhere, and he knows that. This Bismarck knows that, and if he can just hang there, down goes the Atago. So MIA is jumping up into an early lead. One DD down, one cruiser down. So Loop's probably gonna get is probably gonna get taken out. But if he can maybe potentially get a torp on this Bismarck, torp on anything, let them have some good damage in, and just get as good of a trade. Dying in Warships isn't. Dying in Warship isn't the worst thing in the game. If you can get a good trade, if you can trade health for health, like let's say if he drops this Bismarck but then goes down himself, that's a pretty damn good trade. They're going to be down a big gun. That Atago is potentially going to get rocked right there. So the torps are in. Sonar is obviously in. A Loop's going to get touched right here a little bit. So is 4K. But those torps, if they're on point, that Bismarck is going to be hurting, if not dead. A Loop's probably going to go down right here. That is a solid set of torps on that. That's a really good trade. He has no repair. Down he goes pretty much right there. Loop with the trade. Amagi takes out the Kutuzov with Santa Claus. This is getting out of hand really fast. Just an entire situation that MIA controlled. They lost one ship. A Loop extended, I think, a little bit too much. But all in all, I mean, look at this. We got the Charles way over here with no Kutuzov. That's the crazy part. So this Charles was able to do this. I mean, we talked about Dwarf has the 2 kills. So with this flanking core right here, they were able to, 1, defend themselves against a DD that got spotted, and 2, they were able to destroy a complete flank. That Amagi was able to basically get broadside on all those cruisers and just absolutely dunk them with 2 kills. So you send out 1 cruiser with an AA ability, protect him, and then you have this Amagi that's just completely broadside, completely flanking, and what are you supposed to do? You can't do anything. It's just too big of a gun. So a Loop maybe got a little aggressive there, but it did end up paying off. He put a massive torp salvo into that Bismarck, and really it's just a matter of time for MIA just kind of closes this out. Let's go to Cruiser Takao if we can get over there fast enough. Who's getting pushed by this he's getting pushed by this Atago, but torps are out. Those are Russian torps. Those are gonna hurt. He may actually, oh, he almost. So torps are out. He is going to get dunked on right here, though, by the Atago. So it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. At this point, it doesn't honestly matter. They're so far ahead in points, so far ahead in map control, and really just going to be able to kind of focus these guys down. So for having such an interesting, I don't know if I'm seeing in chat, this is breaking the meta. 100% this is breaking the meta. I don't think this is a top tier list of ships. I just think the Kutuzov is too damn good to not bring it, but a very interesting, very effective. I'm surprised they actually went with the Charles over the Kuda. I think they could have done basically the same job and potentially smoked them. So I think the Kuda is just that much better than the Charles. The Ognivoy, I know they have to do certain nations, only have so many nations. So very interesting to go with the Charles. I want to kind of ask at some point MIA why they went with it, if they just didn't really care, if they wanted to try it to see how it works. Now this isn't like, this is just qualifying games, but still very interesting to see why they went with the Charles over, so let's say a Kutuzov. Seeing how many premiums they have, they only brought the Lo Yang, so not exactly sure. But really though, awesome play by MIA, great shots by the Dwarf Lord, and just commanding. This is a really good clan, really talented players, and GG's to MIAC, taking him home, and taking it home pretty one-sided right there. For such an look at all those rank ones. That's what I'm talking about. Look at these boys. So the Magi bringing it home with 3 kills. That was the flank. That was the big flank right there, and he had the Charles to kind of just baby him a little bit, help him with DDs if spotted, help him with planes if they're coming in, and really, I mean, MIA's CV was able to completely control the air, and I don't even know if their CV was able to really pump out any damage, because one, they had, well, actually MIA was pretty low on AA heavy ships. They had the NorCal, of course, but other than that, they really didn't have too many. So them having the 3-fighter Shokaku compared to the 2-fighter Shokaku, he was able to hopefully control him. He only got 2 more kills on top of him, so kind of a jousting match. But I don't think that the balanced Shokaku was able to do. So first game goes to MIA, pretty commanding. They only lost 2, a loop in the middle, and then the Chappie, which basically on a trade, and of course yours truly